You know, I got my shades on because the future's so bright, as I've told a lot of you in the past. But the real thing that I wanted to share on here, besides being corny, is kind of talk about the lesson that I learned in this business, and it's kind of rearing its head again today. And it's one of those things where sometimes, you know better, but you still do it just because you're trying to help an individual, try to be different, try to be more understanding. You don't want to be too confrontational. But there are many times, and I have to say that, I'd say 80% of the people that I've worked with come to me asking for a particular type of property in a particular neighborhood. They want it to be X, Y, and Z, and they'll accept nothing else. And, they'll say, like, for example, they need a 2-bedroom, but they need 2 bedrooms to be very spacious, or they need a 3-bedroom and they need to make sure that one is good enough for an office, or that it's near the train, or I don't want any co-ops, or I don't want any co-ops with on the second floor, or I want a property with a pool. All these types of things that people come up with, and usually, and I'm assuming that you would think that basically, like, as soon as a person tells me that and I go through an appointment with them and I sit down and I understand their wants, their needs, I get an analysis of all that, you would think that I would have to then listen to exactly what they said. The thing is that, not to be a salesman or anything, but it's part of my job, and the thing is that people they don't always know what they want, and you are entitled to change your mind. So if I limit what you're looking at, if I limit your options, I'm doing you a disservice. And that's something that I want you to keep in mind when you're dealing with anybody, when you're dealing with any kind of salesperson, any kind of company. You tell them, I don't want the extra insurance because of such and such, or I don't want this, or I don't want that. And you think that they are actually adding more components to you, or they're offering more things because they're trying to get one over on you, or make you spend a little more. In my case, sometimes you spend less doing what I say. You're just getting more of what you want. And that could be true for a lot of times. Different insurance companies might save you more because of your certain tendencies that you have as far as speeding violations or what have you, the place that you live, different things. But the whole point is that sometimes it is necessary to offer the client things that are completely different than what they're asking for, because a lot of times things change as the search goes on. So if I put a limitation on that person or on you based on what you told me, then at the end of the day, like I said before, I'm doing you a disservice. So I firmly believe that even if you tell an agent or whoever, and I'll keep it to real estate because I'm an agent, if you tell them that you want a particular place in a particular neighborhood, a specific size, and I'm showing you things that are way different than that, which I normally don't do, but the reasoning behind doing that is because a lot of times things change, or the buyer or the seller don't know exactly what they're looking for. So we have to kind of analyze, and based on what your needs really are, sometimes we have to guide you away from what you want and more towards what you need. And I know it kind of sounds weird, and it's an idea that it's perception. It's the perception that you have versus what, let's say, I have. But a lot of the times what I've been finding is that if I just listen straight to what the person's telling me, then the search is longer, and the chances of you finding what you actually need and want decrease. So please don't get mad, don't get upset when people give you a little more extra, that little bit extra, or they push you, not push, but they advise you to do something else other than what you're asking for, because at the end of the day, that might actually be the best thing for you. Keep that in mind, especially when you're dealing with somebody who does have your best interest at heart. That's what I wanted to say.